games as he turned the ball over so many times.
Right. I mean, he's to blame. It's not all his fault in the games they've lost. I mean, that defense has been atrocious lately.
I know that. Which you have to wonder, too, is, for whatever reason, is he pressuring himself because he knows that the Bears have to score pretty much every offensive drive in order to stay in games because his defense can't stop anyone. And you have to think maybe...
This defense couldn't even stop E.J. Manuel, and he's been benched.
Right. Yeah, and now he's been benched for Kyle Orton, of all people.
And they couldn't stop Geno Smith. I mean, he threw that pick 6 to Mundy, except other than that, Geno, I think, had 300 passing yards.
Right. Is there a coach? I mean, like you said, Ryan, you have to think that... a lot of people thought Trestman was that guy to finally get to Cutler.
Now, I think Trestman maybe could have been that guy had... Maybe he'd been the quarterback's coach, except he's the head coach, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, He has no clue. I was listening to the score on my way down here, and they were talking to somebody, I forget who, but they were talking to somebody, and he said, Mike Shanahan might be a good fit in Chicago because he has the ties with Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall.
Well, didn't Cutler get Shanahan fired in Denver?
Well, yes. That's also what I was thinking. He's part of the reason why Jay Cutler left, but also, I think... That's not an awful idea because you get somebody with the NFL experience, which the Bears have never had an NFL head coach with previous NFL coaching experience. So I think that's a possibility. Although,
is it too late to get Bruce Arians?
I think he's locked up there in Arizona.
And he has the best defense coordinator in the league. He wanted to bring in his own guy, which I forget his name. He just got the biggest contract ever for a defensive coordinator because of the great job he's done in those 2 years. Bruce Arians was bringing that guy to Chicago, and the Bears said, "No, we want Rod Marinelli." Well, they hire Mark Trestman, and Rod Marinelli leaves.
I know.
And then we get Mel Tucker.
And that sucks because Rod Marinelli, he was doing a really nice job, too. And now, now we're stuck with Mel Tucker. He's going to be gone now, so... I don't know who. No matter who you hire to replace these people, they have to be, a better fit.
It's hard to believe that they could be a worse fit.
Right. Mel Tucker has to, the person who replaces Mel Tucker will probably do a better job than Mel Tucker.
Will have to be competent.
Think. That guy could probably just sit down the whole game, and he would be doing a better job than Mel Tucker.
So that's the thing. We're talking about if the Bears were to trade Cutler, what exactly they would get. Obviously, you're probably not going to get a top, a three.
Probably just a conditional draft pick.
I wonder if they're even trying to shop him. Are they even trying to shop him at this point? Are they open to trades for Jay Cutler? Are they?
Oh, I think absolutely. I think you have to. It's just a matter of how much money do you have to take for that trade. Because I don't think any team is going to be willing to take that deal fully.
And then it goes and falls on the man that gave him that mega deal.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting to is with the draft picks. Well, you don't trust Emery making draft picks?
No, they're gonna if they get a top 5 pick, he's gonna draft some guy we've never heard of again.
Some guy that we never heard of. He did, he was like an average college player, and he has high upside, good potential, and then it's just another bust.
He was an average linebacker like Shea McClellan, and they're gonna move him to defensive end.
Right, and look where that got you. You ended up spending money. You ended up giving money to Lamar Houston, Jared Allen, and Willie Young. Now, granted, Willie Young has looked pretty good.
Willie Young has been a bright spot.
He's only making $3 million a year, where Jared Allen and Lamar Houston are combined making 15. And
right.
Well, it's just surprising because every time I was watching all the, like anytime you would see a Vikings game, you'd always hear Jared Allen's name. You say, "Oh, Jared Allen with another sack." Jared Allen's, leading this defense, and the Vikings are winning, and blah blah blah. But now on the Bears, you barely hear his name. He's not even.
He's getting manhandled. It's not even like he's getting close to the quarterback. But what I'm getting at is, you miss on draft picks. You try to draft McClellan, turn him into a defensive end. You end up swinging and missing on that. Therefore, you're spending all this money when, think about all the safeties that were in the free agent class last year. Mm-hmm. You had Dante Whitner, Jarius Byrd. You could have, shed money
TJ
Ward as well. You could have shed money to these guys. Instead, you have to spend on the defensive linemen because you couldn't hit in the draft. You drafted Shea McClellan out of Boise State with the 20th or 19th pick or whatever he was.
And it's really hard to believe that they could have been happy with Chris Conte's play last year, that they had to have him starting.
Yeah, it's like, Chris Conte had a rough time, but we're going to give him another chance.
Upgrade, I'm sure they would have loved it. But, again, you had to spend that money. You had to align that money with your defensive linemen. And, two of them, granted, Lamar Houston got hurt. Allen hasn't done anything. But now, I mean, you're stuck with both of those guys for a couple more years.
Yeah, well, after the free agent period, there was a poll on ESPN Chicago for who has their team going in the best direction. First was
Blackhawks.
It was Stan Bowman. Second was Phil Emery. Third was Theo Epstein. Fourth was Gar Forman, and last was Rick Hahn.
And now look at Rick Hahn. He's doing a really nice job.
Yeah, now I'd still go Bowman because I still think the Hawks are in a really, really good situation.
Yeah.
I'd probably put the Cubs second.
Yes, I would say the Cubs are second to the Hawks.
Third and fourth are interchangeable with Foreman.
Gar Forman and Rick.
Because
and
I think the Bulls can still compete for another couple of years
with
the roster they have.
Yeah.
The Sox, made a ton of moves this past offseason, so you have to put Emery or that vacated general manager
Right.
spot.
It's pretty surprising that the Bears are at the bottom of that list, where we would have never thought that, really. We'd always be like, oh, it's the Cubs or the White Sox that are down on the bottom of that list. Or before the Blackhawks were good, it was the Blackhawks.
Right.
Now it's the Bears, which is pretty surprising.